Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Wayne, new show on Amazon Prime, originally YouTube Red original, but YouTube Red, I believe, is no longer a streaming service, so Amazon Prime picked it up, and I love this show. Originally heard this recommended by Doug Benson on one of his podcasts, potentially Doug Loves Movies or Wide World of Doug's. I can't remember. But it's an amazing show that I just got hooked on. It's reminds me a lot. There's a Netflix show, UK show called End of the Fucking World, which reminds me a lot of Wayne. Both are kind of dark comedies. Both follow two high school teenagers, guy and a girl, as they go on like a road trip. But very dark, very violent, both of them, and but with a sense of humor, with a sense of heart, and it's just my cup of tea. I don't know. I really love this. So the premise is the 16-year-old kid named Wayne lives in Boston and decides to go on a road trip with his new friend Dell down to Florida to get back his dad's Trans Am that was stolen from him after his dad passes away. And Wayne is kind of an epic dude. He is a dude that seeks revenge on everybody who does wrong to him or anybody he cares about. So he's kind of a Robin Hood type of a character in that sense. Just kind of it's funny, like the moments where where he seeks revenge remind me of the moments in Me, Myself, and Irene where Jim Carrey's character changes into the badass who gets back at people. Very similar in a lot of ways. Those kind of moments where and even the music in Wayne is very pronounced kind of soundtrack that this show has, where very kind of rock and very aggressive, very similar in a lot of ways, like I was saying, the Me, Myself, and Irene moments. Just great. The accents are great, having the thick Massachusetts, Boston accents. And then you have the on the other side, you have the Florida kind of white trash Florida kind of accents. And, it's him and Dell going on this road trip. Then you also have, he's mixed up. Obviously, there's things that he does in Boston before he leaves, which cause the police to be after him. Because they think, at first they think one thing, and then they kind of realize that they could be wrong, that they may be going on this mission for other reasons. And then also Dell's family are on the chase as well, because their daughter just gets taken away. But it's good. There's episodes that focus on different characters. So there's episodes where you see Dell's kind of backstory, which is crazy. You get to see the backstory of Dell's family, which really gives them a lot of heart, because they're very they're a lot of this show is kind of like white trashy type of people, but you see what events lead them to be that way, and you see how easily just a sweet normal family can get turned on its head from just basic life. Just a few bad things happen in life that really change the dynamic of how you're living, and next thing you know, you're living a completely different existence. And this show does a great job at showing, kind of where everybody's coming from. I love the characters. Wayne obviously is amazing. There's so much heart. He's clearly a damaged kid, and it takes a while to realize that you almost think he's like an asshole bully guy, but then you realize why he's doing those things, and it's to get revenge for the people he cares about. So you end up, you end up rooting for him, but then you also end up rooting for all these other people, even people that would be considered antagonists or enemies. You see how they got to be that way, and you have sympathy for them. You have sympathy for them, and you realize that the characters are far more complex than just a one or a two-dimensional kind of just a shitty person like Dell's. There's an episode that shows the backstory of Dell's family, and it's just like it completely changes your perspective on them, and like you see why they act the way they do, because I mean, it's a bunch, everybody's damaged in this movie, right? Or in the show, like Wayne is damaged, Dell is damaged, her family is damaged. um and they come from a culture in Boston, Massachusetts, where just being damaged is handled in a completely different way than if it happened in like LA, right? There's no therapy, uh you know there's no getting any mental help. There's no medication. It's like tough it up. It's like tough it up society, suck it up, stop crying, baby. It's that kind of machismo kind of very toxic in a lot of ways. Very similar to what's wrong with our culture today concerning the vaccine. It's like, oh, just go out there and deal with it, you pussy, kind of a thing. Whereas, these people don't have to be damaged. They can get therapy, and they can get help, and they can get support to kind of help get them through the tragedies that they've dealt with. Um, but yeah, it's a really fun show. I don't know if there's going to be uh more episodes. I don't see why not. I don't know how popular the show is. It came out last year, 2019, but it hit Amazon, I believe, this year. Um, but it's just great, a road trip show. And if you like Wayne, also, if you go, which I highly recommend, go watch Wayne. If you don't have Amazon Prime, you can get a free trial with my link, inspireddisorder.com/prime. Go watch it. Get through the first episode, right? You may not like it. It takes a while before you see what the show is, right? They're kind of like characters that you like. They're not characters that you would like right off the bat. But once you see why they are acting the way they act, you start to get the heart of the show, and I think it will draw you in. It'll get you hooked. But if you like Wayne, I would also recommend checking out End of the Fucking World, which I believe there's 2 seasons of, which is a crazy show, a little bit different of a show, but kind of in the similar type of vein as Wayne is. Both like kind of dark comedies, you know, and Wayne's great. It's like, foul language in Wayne, obviously. People fighting, a lot of violence, but it's not like, it's kind of cartoony in some aspects. I mean, definitely cartoony in some aspects, but also like he's just like a badass. There's this kind of a stupid scene actually where Wayne gets caught. He gets like he gets caught trespassing. He gets tied up, and they're gonna let him go, but he has to uh, do the kind of the knife thing where you put your hand flat out on the table, and then you stab between your fingers with a knife. And if he does it as fast as this other chick does it, then they'll let him go. Really kind of the worst of the writing in the entire show. So I'm sorry that this is my example of bringing it up. But Wayne is such a badass that even after a thing happens where he doesn't even have to do that, he ends up just stabbing himself in the hand just to show these people how little of a fuck he gives. Like he's somebody that, like, it's almost like a John Wick mentality where it's like he's willing to do so much worse to himself than anybody else. That gives him the freedom to just wreck shit, to wreck shit in a way that most people wouldn't even like understand, wouldn't expect, right? Because only somebody who's like willing to do worse, you're like, if you're like a suicidal, you've got nothing else to live for, you're like fuck everybody, then like what are you gonna do? That's like it's like a crazy kind of demented level of freedom that most people don't have, where they're just like pain and suffering mean nothing to me. Like I've experienced the plateaus of those things. So there's nothing you can do to bring me to that level again. So check this out, kind of a thing. And it's badass in the best ways. And the characters are amazing. The writing is amazing for the rest of the show. There's not as much kind of wackiness as that one scene I'm bringing up. But highly recommend checking out Wayne on Amazon Prime. You won't regret it. Watch it and tell me thank you in the comments for recommending it to you, because you'll like it. Get yourself 2 free books from Audible when you go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/audible. That's 2 free books when you sign up. Cancel anytime. If you stay with the service, you get a free book every month. They also have available Audible originals, guided wellness programs, news, and so much more. Sign up now to get your 2 free audio books through my link, inspireddisorder.com/audible. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!